In this video, we will talk about nutrients beyond absorption, and in particular about water and iron. Let's start with water. In women, water constitutes 50% of the body, in men 60%, and in babies 75%. Therefore, water is one of the main components of the human body. In this video, we will talk about water needs, the daily gains and losses of water, and also the main functions of water in our body. Daily water needs vary depending on gender and age. Adult males need 35 milliliters of water per kilogram of body weight. That is, a man of about 70 kilos would need about 2.5 liters of water daily. Adult women need the same except during pregnancy and lactation. During these periods, the water needs are higher. During pregnancy, in addition to the 35 milliliters of water per kilo of weight, women need about 30 milliliters more water daily, and during lactation about 750 milliliters more daily. Children have a daily need of between 50 and 60 milliliters of water per kilogram of body weight, regardless of their gender. And finally, babies have the highest need of water, about 150 milliliters of water per kilogram of body weight per day. The main water gains are provided by food and are about 2 liters per day. In addition to drinking water directly, we ingest water that is contained in other drinks and foods. In fact, food contains much more water than people imagine. For example, 95% of a lettuce is water, as is 85% of an apple. Even in French fries, half is water, and in bread it is still 36%. The metabolism of macronutrients also provides us with water. For every gram of carbohydrates which we metabolize, we get 550 milligrams of water. For every gram of protein, 400 milligrams, and for each gram of lipids, about 1 gram of water. And what are the main daily water losses? Through the skin, through sweating and evaporation, we lose half a liter of water a day. Through breathing, 400 milliliters. Through feces, 200 milliliters. And through urine, we lose about 1.5 liters of water every day. So urine is the main route of water loss from our body. To maintain a healthy body, it is important that there is a balance between gains and losses. Water fulfills very important functions in our body, such as regulate body temperature through sweating, wetting mucous membranes, such as those in the lungs and mouth, lubricate and cushion joints, moisturize the skin, aid digestion, and prevent constipation, or act as a shock absorber inside the eyes, spinal cord, and in the amniotic sac surrounding the fetus during pregnancy. In addition, water is the major component of the blood and plays a very important role in the elimination of metabolic waste and in the control of the composition and volume of blood. In order to eliminate the waste of the metabolism which blood carries, it is filtered into the urinary system that is formed by the kidneys, ureters, bladder, and urethra. In the kidneys, metabolic waste that must be eliminated passes into the urine. Water is very important for the transport of this waste and its disposal. In the kidneys, other components of the blood, such as sodium, potassium, or glucose, will pass into the urine or be reabsorbed depending on their concentration in the blood. And the same applies to water, which plays a very important role in controlling the composition and volume of blood. If we ingest too few water, blood water levels drop, and therefore the concentration of some components of the blood, and particularly sodium, increase. An elevated concentration of sodium in the blood is detected by an area of the brain called the hypothalamus that induces thirst to drink, to incorporate water, and reduce the concentration of sodium in the blood. The hypothalamus also acts on another area of the brain called the pituitary gland, stimulating the production of antidiuretic hormone that acts on the kidneys, increasing the reabsorption of water and preventing its loss through the urine, so that concentrated urine is produced. If there is little water in the blood, this translates into a reduction in the volume and pressure in the circulatory system, which is detected by baroreceptors that respond by activating the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. This system also influences the kidneys and increases the reabsorption of water to prevent its loss through urine. As a result, we produce a concentrated urine. If we drink a lot of water and have a very low sodium concentration and at the same time a high volume and blood pressure, there is an inverse response to the previous one. A low sodium concentration does not stimulate the hypothalamus, and therefore we are not thirsty, or is the pituitary stimulated to produce antidiuretic hormone. Therefore, the kidneys do not receive the order to reabsorb water, but allow water to be lost through urine. In this situation, a diluted urine is produced. Nor do the baroreceptors activate the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, since the volume and pressure of the blood are high, and therefore the kidneys do not receive by this route the signal to reabsorb water and allow the loss of water through the urine with a consequent production of diluted urine. As you can see, the water regulation system is very efficient. For this reason, healthy people and in normal environmental conditions do not need to drink water continuously, since when we need water, our hypothalamus will induces thirst, so we should drink when we are thirsty. However, in situations of high temperatures when water can be lost very quickly, we should drink water frequently even if we are not thirsty. In babies and the elderly, we must supply water frequently to babies because they do not know how to ask for it when they are thirsty, and to the elderly because the regulation mechanisms are not as efficient, and therefore the elderly carry a higher danger of becoming dehydrated. And now let's talk about iron. Women have about 2.3 grams of iron in their body, while men have about 3.8 grams. As with water, with iron we will also talk about needs, daily gains and losses, and their function. Daily iron needs vary greatly depending on gender and age. Adult males over age 19 need about 8 milligrams of iron daily. Adult women between 19 and 50 years old, that is, adult women of childbearing age, need about 18 milligrams of iron per day, while women over 50 years after menopause need the same amount of adult men, about 8 milligrams of iron daily. This is because women during the fertile period of their lives lose a lot of iron in menstruation. There are two periods during which these requirements vary. These are during pregnancy and lactation. During pregnancy, the needs increase to 27 milligrams daily to meet the needs of the fetus, while during lactation, when there is no menstruation, the needs are reduced to between 9 and 10 milligrams daily. In adolescence, iron requirements vary by gender. Boys need about 11 milligrams of iron daily, while girls need about 18 milligrams due to losses during menstruation. In the case of children, there are no differences between sexes, but according to age. Children between 1 and 3 years old need about 7 milligrams of iron daily. Children between 4 and 8 years about 10 milligrams, and children between 9 and 13 years about 8 milligrams. Regarding babies, babies born at term are born with enough iron stores for the first 4 months of life, so they do not need iron supplements before 4 months. If the baby is breastfed, a daily dose of oral iron of 1 milligram per kilogram of body weight is recommended starting at 4 months and should continue until the baby begins eating iron-rich solid foods. That usually happens around 6 months of age. Formula-fed babies get enough iron in their formula and don't need a supplement between 4 and 6 months of age. From 6 to 12 months, babies need about 11 milligrams of iron daily. The sources of iron are food, and the main losses occur during menstruation or during pregnancy, and therefore only in women. Let's talk about now how we get iron from food. Iron exists in several forms, being part of the heme group, in the form of ferrous iron, and in the form of ferric iron. The heme group is part of hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is found in erythrocytes or red blood cells. Iron in heme form is therefore found in foods of animal origin that contain blood, such as liver, red meat, or tuna. In foods of plant origin such as legumes, spinach, or chard, iron is found in the form of ferric iron. 25% of the iron we ingest in the form of a heme group can be absorbed and passes into the bloodstream, while we are only able to absorb 5% of the ingested iron in the form of ferric iron. Therefore, vegetarians and vegans may find it more difficult to ingest a recommended daily doses of iron. And why is there such an important difference in iron absorption? Iron in heme form can cross the membrane of cells in the intestine and enter these cells, where it is broken down into ferrous iron and bilirubin. Ferrous iron, which can also cross membranes, passes into the blood, where it is transformed into ferric iron, and after binding to a protein, is transported to the bone marrow, where it is needed for the synthesis of erythrocytes, and also to the liver, where it is stored. Ferric iron cannot cross the membranes of the cells in the intestine, and therefore it must first be converted to ferrous iron that can cross the membranes and pass into the blood, where it becomes ferric iron again and is transported to the bone marrow and liver. The need for conversion of ferric to ferrous iron is responsible for the low absorption of ferric iron. Vitamin C is involved in this conversion. So, if foods of plant origin which are rich in iron are combined with foods rich in vitamin C such as tomatoes, peppers, or citrus fruits, the absorption of ferric iron can be increased. 70% of the iron in our body is in the form of heme group, forming part of hemoglobin, which is found in erythrocytes. Hemoglobin can fix oxygen. Therefore, erythrocytes are the main transporters of this gas in the body. Erythrocytes are produced in the bone marrow, and from there they pass into the bloodstream and circulate between the lungs, heart, and tissues. When erythrocytes pass through the lungs, they are loaded with oxygen thanks to their hemoglobin and let go the CO2. Oxygen-laden erythrocytes circulate through the arteries to the tissues, where they release the oxygen which is needed by the cells, and at the same time, they collect the CO2 that has been produced as a waste product of metabolism. CO2-laden erythrocytes circulate through the veins back to the lungs, where they discharge CO2 and reload with oxygen. Iron is therefore crucial for oxygen to reach all the cells of our body.